back, guys, the AIA Digital Marketing Podcast. I'm so excited about this year. I'm so excited about this podcast episode. I've got two great guests in here. We've also got a brand new video editor. I know that she wants to be behind the scenes, but I'm going to make sure that she's not. Today, we're going to be talking about SEO. We've got some predictions from our in-house, our resident SEO expert named Rasesh, and also some information about SEO and how you can improve your e-commerce business's rankings as well, from our e-commerce expert, Ilan Hurwitz, who's the founder of Clever Conversions and is a conversion rate optimization gun. So first I'll introduce Rasesh. Rasesh, how are you, mate?
Hey there, really good, thanks.
That's good.
Thanks for having me here in the podcast, and thanks to everyone who's listening.
Yeah, cool.
And
no worries.
Starting with my introduction, I'm a web developer and a SEO strategist.
Yes.
Here at AIA, and we're doing some amazing things.
Yeah, man.
Right?
We're going to get to your story in a second because it's an amazing story. I love these kind of success stories where people weren't given a silver spoon right from birth. They had to kind of fight for themselves and make it on their own. And you've certainly done that, man. You're kicking some massive goals over here for us. Ilan, welcome back.
Hi, Billy. How are you? Happy New Year.
Yeah,
good to see you again.
Thanks for popping in today.
Always a pleasure.
Good to see you, mate. You're going to be sharing some information. Also, we're going to be talking about ChatGPT, of course.
Yes.
If people out there don't know what that is.
It's hot off the press. Very excited
very,
to be
very hot
chatting
topic.
all things AI and e-commerce.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So we'll cut straight to the chase, guys. Rasesh, why don't you start with, if you don't mind, a little bit about your story, man. How did you get into SEO? I know you're from Nepal, right?
Yes.
So tell us. Let's start from the beginning.
All right, let's go back to the country of the mountains, right?
Yes, man.
All right. So it's a very long story, so I need to make a shortcut. And saying, how I was as a child, as growing up, I wouldn't say I was not privileged because I come from a good family. My dad's a lawyer, and that's a privilege as well. I had everything growing up. The only thing I didn't had was there were some limitations, like with buying some softwares or buying hosting. So story goes like this.
Why were the limitations there?
So back in our country, making foreign transactions, it's not possible at all because of the government rules. And you can just imagine like how many things you can miss out.
So you can't buy an American software, for example.
Yeah, exactly. I knew about Bitcoins.
Yes.
Back in 2014 when I was a little child,
Yes.
And I was aware of things that were happening, and I felt like I was kind of missing out.
Yep.
So I was able to speak in English. I was able to make videos. I was able to write.
Yes.
And I was into computers. So
when was this? How long ago? How old were you?
It was when I was 13, 14.
Yeah, right.
I was sick of playing games, so I wanted to do something different, obviously.
Yep.
And one day I just woke up and then realized, why not make some money out of it?
Yes.
Right? So that's how I got into SEO.
Yep. Why not make some money out of online?
Yes.
You mean?
Yes,
Yep.
exactly. Why not make some money out of the skills that I've got?
Yes.
Say writing blogs, creating videos, things like that.
Yes.
So these things, it grabbed my attention, and I started reading about SEO. So firstly, obviously, that's where a lot of SEO people start. It's either web development, right, or blogging, content writing. So I had both of these skill set. I was always good at computers, and web designing was something that always grabbed my eyes, that always sparkled my eyes.
Yes.
So I really loved that. And that's where I started, learning these things on YouTube, reading blogs, following people in the industry.
Yep.
And out of these success stories, this and that, this is how I taught myself SEO.
Where did you find the clients from while you were in Nepal?
So back then I used to do it for my friends and family.
Yes.
Obviously, in our country, people use Google differently.
Yes.
Right? In Australia, what happens in Sydney, right, if we need a plumber, if we need an electrician, we straight away go into Google.
Yeah.
Back in our country, we ask our neighbors.
Yeah, right.
Right?
Yep.
So it's
sort
not
of like small town thinking, like country style.
Exactly. So outside of the big countries like maybe United States, they hop into Google, but it's changing back in our country as well. But back then, when I got started, it was not for businesses, but it used to be, special thing, something extraordinary, like being ranked on Google.
Yes.
You could be able to show your friends and neighbors, like,
Yes.
see, my name is here on Google, right?
Yeah.
So that's
It's the same here, man. It's good to be number one because you get traffic and clients and a return on your investment, but you also, of course, show your friends and family when you're at the top of Google.
Exactly. Even if there is no one searching for it, imagine how many people are competing for
Yeah.
Billy Paulson, right? You can get
It's like, hey, man, did you know I rank for strawberry flavored Brazilian body glitter for sale in Sydney, Chatswood?
Exactly.
And
so
I'm at the top. Look.
And so your friends. So that's how I help people,
Yeah.
right? Getting the businesses just visible on Google.
Yep.
Obviously, back then I didn't knew what I was doing, and I didn't knew how competitive
Back then, how long ago is this, man?
It
You're
was-
talking 13, 14 years old.
So I'm 23 right now. I'm talking like
10 years.
10 years back.
Yep.
Which is a long time in online.
Yeah, man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that's when I got started into these things.
Yep.
I had a blogspot website where I used to write about, tech tutorials and things like that, how to earn money.
Yep.
And helping businesses. It was mostly for friends and family. I never did it as a profession back then, obviously. But these were the things that got me inside SEO and got me more interested. That's where I started learning more about advanced techniques. How can it benefit businesses?
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
That's my short and sweet story.
Yeah. Cool. And then how long were you doing that in Nepal for?
So I did that for quite a long time.
Yes.
After that, I had another blog.
Yes.
So I was practicing in that blog as well, all the
Yep.
techniques that I learned.
Yes. Was it
And-
WordPress?
Yes,
Yep.
it was WordPress.
Just going with the odds there.
Yeah, WordPress. And after that, I had an opportunity to join a company
Mm-hmm.
as a part-timer.
Yes.
And there, since my English was nice, I was able to communicate with clients.
Yes.
That's where I started learning about client management, how SEO is important to businesses,
Yes.
how it can generate leads.
Yes.
So slowly everything started to appear clear, and I started thinking to myself that this field might have some career.
Yes. Did you have any aha moments, like, having gone from a complete novice and making your own blog? Alan, when you get those kind of moments of clarity when you're learning about a certain skill set and something that's kind of as ambiguous and complicated as SEO. Do you remember any kind of moments maybe when you were doing those blogs or working for your clients in Nepal where you realized that there's something that you didn't know before that was critical to helping you rank your website?
Yeah. All right. In terms of rankings, obviously, even now it's a lot of test and trial.
Mm-hmm.
We try to understand the intention of the clients, and it's a long process.
Mm.
It's not going to be like yesterday I was at 100 position, today morning position 1 all of a sudden. So
Yes.
it's a really gradual process.
Yes.
But yeah, I had some moments where I worked for some websites and then I didn't see results, and obviously I parked those websites.
Yes.
But later on, I saw them, ranking number 1
Yes.
in not only on Google but also on Bing, which
Yes.
I didn't even realize.
Yes.
So those were kind of aha moments.
Bing's coming up, man. More people are going to be talking about Bing this year than at any point
Well, you
in
know
the
what
last
their plans are with
ChatGPT.
ChatGPT.
They're going to take they could take on Google with that.
They could, right?
Yeah.
If you can see how people use it now.
So Bing optimization might be something that people should be looking at right now, right?
Exactly, trying to get ahead of it.
Yeah, knowing that Bing's going to get a...
And there's nothing to lose for Microsoft.
Yeah.
Bing has such a small market share.
Yeah, yeah.
So they can afford to try this new technology.
That's right.
And it's their only way is up.
Yeah.
Where Google's in this really difficult position because they have this algorithm, and this model, and this revenue stream.
And also a search engine that's based on being simple. You go to
Yes,
Google, there's
that's right.
one thing in the middle, a search bar.
Exactly.
They don't want to add all the
Yes.
bells and whistles.
And they don't
the
give you
trinkets.
answers. They
Yeah.
give you links to
To-
answers you
to
have to
find your
find
own.
yourself. And
That's
that's
right.
how it's always been.
Different game.
Bing tried to compete with that.
Yeah.
It couldn't.
Yeah.
Now Bing has an opportunity to say, well, we're different.
Yeah, man.
And
Exactly.
Microsoft invested early
Yeah.
in OpenAI.
Yeah,
So
for
they
this reason.
So they
Yeah.
Well, all these tech companies, they place bets, right? They have venture funds.
Yes.
With 100 mil, go out and find the newest companies. So one of those companies was OpenAI, which that puts them at the front of the queue to invest further and start to use it with things like Bing. So
yeah, man, it's exciting.
Yes.
We'll see what comes out.
It'll be very interesting.
So some of the websites that you parked, you came back and looked at later, had actually started ranking really well on multiple search engines, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yep.
And they made me some money as well. And
right.
That's an aha moment.
That is the aha moment.
Exactly.
All that hard work.
Exactly.
And then you start to see
What's
some
What's
results.
the story about the first American dollar that you made? Is that the first time you made foreign currency from that blog? Or was that from, like, were you also doing some work on Upwork or, outsourcing and stuff like that, like as a freelancer?
Yes, I tried everything from Fiverr to selling backlinks to doing small talks, handling,
Hustler.
I was also
Hustling. Man.
Exactly, freelance. I was trying to do everything.
Yeah, to see what would work.
Exactly, since I was interested as well, and that was my main drive, If you are interested, you can wake up.
Man, it's critical
in the middle of
in
the
this
night,
industry. It's critical because you've got to stay ahead of the curve. You've got to stay in touch with what's going on, and you have to have that inner drive to, like, there's only a small portion of the population that will think at 9 o'clock at night after watching a movie or something, oh, just check that campaign I just launched. You know what I mean? Like, not many people will do that. You've got to be genuinely interested, not because you feel like you're enslaved to having to check the campaign, but you're genuinely curious. You've launched something, you've posted a blog, you want to see if it's indexed yet because it's interesting, So that's cool. And then how old were you when you left Nepal?
So I was 19 years old.
Yes.
When I left, and it's been 5 years now.
Yeah, cool. You came straight to Australia?
Yes.
Yep.
Sydney.
Yeah, cool.
It was, and then I finished my diploma, advanced diploma. I did my bachelor's.
Yep.
So it's a long way.
Yeah, man. And I think for the listeners out there, Rasesh is being very humble. He's got an amazing SEO skill set. I can give you some examples, but the first one that comes to mind is about a month ago. We were ranking number 3 for Google Ads Sydney. And AdWords Sydney and Facebook Marketing Sydney, Facebook Ads Agency Sydney. We'd slipped a bit. We were like number 3, number 4, number 2. And I pointed these out to you, Rasesh, and said, I'm going to give you a side project. Hopefully you can help us with this. And about 2 weeks ago, I've checked again and we're at number 1 for all of them. So that's not just an isolated case either, right? You can talk about our recent client that we looked at, the flying instructor, the flying school in Sydney, ranking number 1 for like 15 keywords that he wasn't even in the top 3 or 4 pages for 2 months ago. The record store that you're working on, Rasesh just has an amazing track record since having started working here with improving keywords and rankings on Google, which, for anyone out there that's tried this or been with different SEO agencies, it is not easy. It's not an easy thing to understand, and it's very nuanced. There's not like here's the playbook, step 1, 2, 3. It's more about like reading the website, the search console, the data, what keywords are you getting traffic from, what impressions are you getting, what's indexed, what's not, what does the metadata say, and then having to kind of like compute that based on experience and come up with a solution, right? So well done, Rasesh. You've worked your way out of Nepal into Australia. You've got your degrees. Now you're working here and kicking goals for AIA. So that's a great story, man.
Thanks.
You should be really proud of yourself, man.
Thank you.
That's not an easy thing to do. Not a lot of people do that,
Actually, I'm ready to share my secret if you're ready to hear.
Yes.
Can we say it here?
Yeah, man. As long as it's not something we charge people money for. No, I'm just kidding.
All right. So the little secret that I always do is always put myself in other shoes.
Yes.
And I'm an empathetic person, right?
Yes.
I can think like customers. That's my main point. So if you got a problem at home and say emergency electrician issue, right? So you're not going to read 1,000 words.
No.
Right? As soon as you go into the website, you need to see a phone number that you can
call. Yep.
So that's the main point.
Yes.
Obviously, if it requires 1,000 words, you can have it in the content, but that phone number should be visible on the top.
Yes. And
right?
you will look for a few things, right? Like you won't, because if I need an emergency electrician, it's an emergency. I don't want to learn about how to do electrical work. I don't want to learn about how many years this electrician's been in the industry, or you know what I mean, like why he started his business. I want to know that other people are happy with him, and that he's easy to contact, and that the design of his website adds credibility to his business. You know, as long as it doesn't look like some sort of chuck it together crappy website with no design, and it just gives you a dodgy feel.
Yeah. Exactly. I think that makes the difference. That's the difference between me and most of the other SEO people out there.
Yes.
So I genuinely try to understand what the business is selling.
Yes.
And I put myself in the customer's shoes.
Yep.
And I make this question to myself: is this web page providing everything that I need? Does a customer is looking for prices? Is he looking for a phone number? Is everything that he needs, is it at the top of the page or not? Right? Because that's the most visible part of a website, what appears on the top.
On a mobile too, right? That real estate
on a mobile as well. On a mobile as well. And every other factor, like having keywords, faster loading websites, these things comes in later. But as long as you fulfill the customer's intent, or say a searcher's intent, right?
That's pretty much what Google talks about a lot anyway, in
Exactly.
their best practice documents and stuff for SEOs. Yeah.
And
So-
still people don't follow it.
No, it's amazing, isn't
I know.
it, man?
That's why you're spot on. Like what you said.
Yeah.
So often you see from SEO professionals or non-professionals trying to get to the hacks, and you can tell when a page has been overloaded with too many SEO tactics, and it completely compromises the customer experience.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
the
Because it
conversion.
used to work.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, think
exactly.
about-
It used to work, and there's still things that do work for SEO.
Yeah.
But if you don't have that checkpoint, like what does this look like for the customer experience?
Yeah.
Then that's when they're going to bounce. You
Yeah,
can still
man.
try some SEO
Techniques.
techniques.
Yeah, yeah.
You
Tips
should
and tricks.
because but you still need to go. And the other thing is the opportunities. Like it's not just what they're selling now, but like what are the problems they're trying to solve
Yes.
with the product as well.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and think
It's all
about-
marketing, right? It's all like understanding the customer and talking to them
Yeah.
in the right way. But then
And the fact that you've got like, what is it? Like 2 by 4 inch screen really these days.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
pretty much your real estate. When you look at, I know Alana, you've spent a lot of time looking at heat maps and CRO reports and scroll depth maps, looking at how much people, like you've lost half the people that have visited your
before below
website
that,
by
after
the
the
time they
fold.
scroll down.
Yep.
So you've literally got this, you know what I mean? Like this tiny little window of space.
Every single pixel
That's
counts.
all that, that's right. Every single pixel counts.
Yep.
So, yeah, cool. How do you think SEO's changed, Rasesh, mostly since you started to now? What's the biggest change, if you were to name one?
So the biggest, or since I started going back in time, like 10 years ago,
Yeah.
a lot of things. Like now people have realized SEO is mainstream now, to be honest. Every business who wants marketing also looks at SEO as an option, right? So it's a lot more competitive and people know its value out there, how important it is, and its role in growing a business. So in terms of applying SEO, things have changed a lot as well. Nowadays, Google is a lot more smarter. It's more based on search intent. There are a lot of features in Google that we don't even realize they didn't exist 10 years ago. Right? So even now, Google is trying to change things on how the search results page looks like. So obviously,
have you noticed that it's almost now even more so indistinguishable between paid and organic results?
Exactly. They are trying to be actually focused on their
pretty
profits.
sneaky, man.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like it's
These
now if you're number 1 in organic, you're kind of number 4 on the page. You know what I mean? They've kind of made the ads look like organic results, which is just a way of trying to force people. But people are smarter than that. And users, when they see themselves at the top of the search results, when they see a potential business that they're going to get in touch with or buy something from, if they're at the top of the organic section and people can pick that out still, it's kind of like implied credibility. You know, they're like, oh, if Google puts these guys at the top, they must at least not be a fly-by-nighter. You know what I mean? They must be pretty well established, which is cool. Cool. So Ilan, tell us a little bit about what you've been up to lately, mate. Do you mind?
I have been
curious.
geeking out on ChatGPT.
ChatGPT. What's that, Ilan? What's ChatGPT, man?
It's an awesome thing.
Yes. ChatGPT. Actually, it's been around for a while.
About a month now, maybe 6
No, it's
weeks?
been around for longer.
Oh,
It's
you're
up to
talking about
version 3.5, but it's been...
The GPT Playground, it was called?
Yes, but you kind of need to be a developer
Yeah.
and to use it. What happened in November is they opened up a really easy to use interface. You don't need to know any code, where
Yep.
you can just type and have a chat
Yes.
with an AI bot,
Yeah.
which people are really only scratching the surface on
Yes.
and trying to understand what's possible with it. But
Yep.
it can do all sorts of things, that from doing... People have figured out how to pass exams.
Yeah, man.
It can write an
It's
instant
scary.
essay,
Yep.
jokes, speeches. It can write code. It can audit code.
It'll
it can,
write a thesis
it can
and then
analyze
mark the
data.
thesis.
Yeah, we are not ready.
Yeah.
Is the quote that
Yeah.
I think we don't even understand what's possible with it.
Yeah.
But definitely in our industry, I think particularly because we are digital by nature, a lot of digital experts are starting to already uncover ways where this can save you hours and hours of time and improve quality, which just allows people to focus on things the robot can't do, which is around originality,
Yeah.
creativity, communication, being empathetic, all those sorts of things that a bot can't do. And
Yeah.
probably just, without getting technical, the big difference with ChatGPT, it's generative AI. So it's producing things that are new each time.
On the fly.
So there's things that have been AI, like we talk about Jasper as a tool.
So
but
Jasper was around for about 2 years before GPT,
yeah,
right?
and I think it actually sits on top of some of the older
GPT.
GPT
Yeah.
back end. But
They've always been open AI, right? They've always
Exactly.
had APIs people can tap
that's
into.
right. But AI like that has it can be detected in a lot easier way, because it's pulling what exists and then changing it with an algorithm. But this AI is generating new information based on data points and constantly learning.
Yeah, yeah. Look, let me tell you what happened for me, right? When I discovered,
Yes.
I learnt about ChatGPT. Actually, you sent it to me.
Yes.
I got it from you, Alarm.
And you were like, oh, is this more like Jasper? I'm like, it's different this time.
Yeah, it's different this time. And how long had it been out for when you sent
That
it
was
to me?
probably just before Christmas. So it must have been, it was
a
late
couple of
November,
weeks
I
into it or
think.
something.
And for context,
Yeah.
you were one of the first 1 million people that used it in 5 days.
Yes.
That is breaking all records. Netflix, Spotify, any software you can imagine.
Yes.
Breaking all records for first 1 million users.
Nice. Yeah,
So what was your one of the
so
first
I'm
1
an expert
million?
now.
Well, I
I'm the
think
first guy
we will
to
get
do
to this,
Yeah.
hear your story, but those who are diving in now,
Yeah.
it's not an understatement to say that
They're behind.
this is the next big shift.
Yes.
There's been Web 1.0, 2.0 with social media. This
Yeah.
is the next big shift. So those who are figuring it out now will be ahead. But tell us about your story.
Oh, no. Well, after having uncovered it, there's few things that I've come across in my life that make me that excited. Do you know what I mean? Like, I remember plugging in my first modem as a kid. That, the fax machine noise and the window loading, you know, down the screen slowly. Inch by inch.
Someone picking up the phone and knocking you off the internet.
Yeah, yeah. So there's that. There was getting my first motorbike. You know, that's another thing. So it's one of those moments in life where you just discover something and you go, wait a minute, like what? You know, and you kind of become a little. I became a little bit obsessed with it.
It's up there.
And then I was kind of overwhelmed with like excitement and anxiety, because this is going to change the world. We're at a moment in time that's going to be like Google, when Google came out.
That's right.
You know
when
what I mean? Or it's
smartphone
going to be
came
like
out.
when the internet first came out. There's these moments like the smartphone, right? Where you're like, okay, we're standing at the precipice of a new age, of a new way of doing things. And what opportunities am I going to miss?
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, even just today, I was looking at ChatGPT Facebook pages, and the people that were on the front foot obviously went and created ChatGPT groups and Facebook pages. They've all now got over 100,000 members. You know what I mean? So they were quick off the ball with that. And so it's an excitement, but also like and also you don't want to get left behind.
No.
My competitors are going to use this, right? And I need to make sure I'm using it as well as, if not better than them. I've got to put it to use. And it's kind of like interesting because it's not a tool with a specific purpose. So it's not like a new turbo has come out for a car, a certain make and model of a car, and
Yeah,
can
you just
go
plug it in
install
and off you go.
It's like here's unlimited potential that's just become available to you.
Yep.
And also,
What are you going to do with it?
Also, the reason why it's so special is because it's when the general public is realizing how powerful can
That's
AI
a really
be.
good point.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. That was the other
Because
big
before that,
breakthrough.
we heard people talking about it. We heard
Yep.
people.
I was not convinced, man.
Exactly.
People would talk to me about AI, and I'm like,
No.
my phone won't even do
Yeah.
what I tell it with the voice commands I've trained it to do. Like, they must be
Yeah, right.
decades
Alexa
off, you
and
know what I mean?
Siri.
Yeah.
You struggle. Yep.
Like, they couldn't even make that work. You hear about Tesla cars auto driving and crashing. You know what I
Yep.
mean? You're like, you're talking about AI, something as smart as us. You know, like, come off it. But yeah, that was another thing. I'm kind of like a member of the public that now has realised, wait a minute, they've made heaps more progress than I thought they had
Yep.
on this front, which is cool. So that's something that I think is going to change this year drastically in regards to SEO. Alan, do you think it's going to change the e-commerce?
Absolutely.
environment?
It's I feel the same anxiety
Yeah.
actually about it, because it's like you are there at the beginning of the internet, but this time you know that it's going to be huge. I don't think the internet was like a bigger jump in connectivity, and now we've seen the smartphone and the digital transformation. So you just know that this is going to be the next big thing, and like how is this going to be used? And for e-commerce, it's going to be everywhere from saving you time and tasks all the way through to strategy. So maybe I'll talk about, and the tasks are the one we're all playing with now, probably, because they're quite straightforward.
I've read some stuff about product description.
So product
generating.
descriptions, I've used it for product descriptions.
Yep.
Works great.
Yep.
Generally, if you say write a product description for a microphone, it's going to be fairly generic. You need to give it a bit more detail. You write a product description for a microphone and talk about the different uses and explain the technology like you're explaining
This
it
is
to
the
a
name and the
5-year-old.
model of the microphone.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
maybe use an analogy, and then all of a sudden, and also if you know, this is where some of the human element comes in.
Yep.
If you know a bit about copywriting, you know about some copywriting frameworks. So one is PAS,
Yes.
problem, agitate, solution.
Yes.
So if you say write the description
Yes.
like PAS,
Or
write
AIDA.
or
What about
AIDA,
AIDA? You know AIDA?
yep, AIDA as well. So
Attention, interest, desire,
action.
action.
So yeah, if you do that, that's going to improve the product description.
This is the point where I'm less anxious, right?
Yes.
Because Google has everything. Everybody knows that.
Yes.
But we can see people, they still don't know how to do a proper search.
Yes.
Even till this date, Google has existed for years.
Yes.
So on this AI as well, ChatGPT, unless you give the right instructions,
Yes.
it won't spit you the right outcome.
Well, what people do is also same with Google search, they underestimate how intelligent it is. Do you know what I mean? So I don't think it's that people do dumb searches. I think that they think Google's dumb, so they do a dumb search.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or so same with the ChatGPT. It's been amazing for me just testing it, telling it to talk in different.
And that's where it's
tones.
different, because you can just ask the question, where Google, if you put the question in, it depends on how well someone's put those words on their page.
Yes.
That's where it's really different. And by the way, the other scary thing with ChatGPT, it's only updated to data up until 2021. It's
Yeah.
not even connected
Yes.
to the internet,
Yeah. Which it will be.
which
but
it will
yeah,
be.
yeah.
Yes.
That's maybe that's the same time they're going to start charging for it.
Yeah, that is a good question that people, now they're
They're
in
asking.
like a free research beta testing, because they
Yep.
don't even know themselves. The
Yeah.
founders are like, how are people going to use this thing?
Yeah. And are people going to use it? And they were probably surprised
Yeah,
by how many
yes,
people have
exactly.
actually taken this up.
Exactly. So they're probably feeling pretty confident about
Yeah.
charging a premium.
Yeah,
a
man.
premium for it. So on e-commerce, things like product descriptions. One I've seen up is recently is Reviews.io, which is a popular reviews. One thing anything that takes you quite a lot of time, you can automate your review replies with ChatGPT. So
Mad.
instead of going in, you can just go in and you can write a review reply.
Yep.
So things like that.
How long do you think it'll be till it becomes a part of it? There's a chatbot developed
That's like that's
if
definitely.
it hasn't already happened.
I mean, there's so all the chatbot software, they're just going to plug it in.
Yeah, because
straight away.
It's got the API there, man.
Yep, the
and
API's
at the moment
there.
It's free.
Yep, and the thing is, you train it up.
Yeah.
So you train it up in your business and your products.
Yes.
And then set the guardrails so if someone's on your store, the bot knows only to talk about your products using the API. What's another? Oh, so SEO. I mean, I'm kind of keen to hear your thoughts, Rajesh, because previously people said Google knows how to learn AI. We were just playing around before and saying I think this is too unique. If you iterate, maybe the first article you get ChatGPT to write looks generic, but if you get it to iterate a few times, make it starts to look quite unique. And I just don't know how Google can pick up on it if it's new.
I'm going to come clean, right? One of the things I didn't want to miss out on was the opportunity to see if Google would index and rank content written by ChatGPT. I was curious about that.
So you ran a little experiment.
I whipped up a little website.
Yep. This is great.
Got someone I know that's good at writing copy to generate 10 blogs a day using ChatGPT and post it on this website. And so far we're ranking in some instances really well for some competitive keywords. Yep. So at this stage it looks like not only does Google index purely ChatGPT written content.
So it was 100% ChatGPT the whole website.
So when you say 100%, none of the sentences or paragraphs necessarily have been reworded, but it's been chopped and changed into a blog article, for example. So you ask a question like whatever it might be, and then it gives you an answer, and then you ask a follow-up question.
Yes.
That seems natural flow for the blog, right?
Perfect.
So that's very interesting. But now there's also this development of Zero GPT, which apparently can pick up ChatGPT content with 98% accuracy. So that was invented by a university student in the space of about 3 weeks, right, with his coding mates. Now they're saying that it's pretty accurate, that it's been built on in-depth human trial and error, and also based on the papers released by OpenAI. And from our testing, it looks like it's pretty spot on if you cut and paste stuff that's been written by ChatGPT into it. So if a uni student can do that in 3 weeks, you'd imagine Google would know.
Part of me is like, I kind of want someone to be able to figure his stuff is written, because where is this going to go for humanity when we can't tell? We can't tell things are real or not, and it's going to get into AI. So animation and deep fakes and the whole other world.
There's talk of them needing to algorithmically watermark the content.
Yeah.
But Google is clearly not any longer involved in OpenAI.
Yes. And apparently Google has their own version of this.
Yeah.
It's Google, right?
Yes. They've been working on AI for a while.
They've been working on all the things.
Probably more to do with
they just... It's got so much money, they just have all these projects to try and figure out where the world's going and be there first.
Yeah.
But again, because the challenge for them is compromising their existing model.
Yeah.
And the SEO is a big one.
But that's why I wanted to test it. And we're indexed and ranking well for a number of keywords based on content.
There you go.
Generally written by
ChatGPT. You should be putting that on that case study on LinkedIn and updating people. That's really interesting. Yeah, because people are putting blogs on how to write the articles, but I haven't seen anything about in the real world.
Yeah.
And actually seeing how Google's responded.
Man, this is like, if Rasesh would know about this, you'd remember content scraping.
Yep.
Do you remember content scrapers? I think there was a thing called Content Ninja or something like that. Anyway, it was software that you could pay for. This was kind of the dark arts of SEO, a decade ago, before Google's algorithms got too smart. But you could get software that would scrape content off websites based on a keyword, and then kind of jumble it together and just spin. It was article spinning. So it would scrape content and then it would spin 50 articles out of scraped content. It was terrible, right? Grammatically incorrect. It was mumbo jumbo.
Didn't make sense.
Didn't make any sense at all.
The sentences.
Yeah, and it didn't tell anyone anything of any use. It was just a noodle soup. You know what I mean? But it worked as well at that time. People got ranked off the back of that because Google thought, these guys have got hundreds of articles about a certain topic. They must be an authority, right? But then obviously Google's algorithms have gotten better. So now we're at a stage where we might be, there's a new war emerging you know. Back then it was the war of black hat backlinks, spammy backlinks like link farms and link wheels and stuff like that, and scraped content, spun content. And that kind of Google kind of beat that, you know what I mean? Like they really did, to almost a complete watertight degree, block websites for spammy content, spammy backlinks, and forced people to have to put more effort into getting rankings, you know, on a genuine basis. But now we're back again to a point where you can spin up content without having to know anything about the topic, write anything about the topic. All you have to do is just kind of babysit this AI machine and get it to do what you want it to do. There's a new thing as well. You've heard of EAT, Rasesh?
Yes.
Yeah.
Google EAT.
Google's recommendation for. Do you remember what this stands for?
A is for authority and
expertise. It's old, man. It's been around for like ages. People don't really talk about it anymore. Expertise, authority, and trust was, I think, what it was. I can't remember exactly, but Google's just talked about a new E at the end of it. So it's expertise, authority, trust, and experience, right? And that, and I think why they've done that is because they want to know that you've actually got some experience. You're not just an expert. You don't just have authority on the topic, and you're not just trustworthy. You're actually experienced in it as well. And what's one thing that AI can never get? Like real world experience, right?
They still can't give opinions, right?
No, that's
and
right.
that makes the difference as well.
Yeah.
And my take on AI content is, as long as it fulfills the intent,
yes,
right, it's going to be ranked, obviously, because Google is a business. They want people to click on websites.
Yes.
That's how they make money.
Yes.
Right? It's simple.
Yep.
So if there is no other content on the internet or no other blog article in the internet that fulfills the intent.
Yes.
So, and then AI generated content, it's fulfilling the intent, then why wouldn't they not rank it?
Yes.
Right?
Such a good point. It's like,
it's going to be on the top.
Why should Google care if it's interesting and engaging and helpful content?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's something that they're probably going to... I mean, John Muir said specifically recently that actually wasn't that recent, it was about a year ago, any AI-generated content is detectable by Google 100% and considered spam, right? Like, and no AI content.
That was last year's AI content, not this year's.
Yeah, that's right. And now he's trying to keep up.
That was from the last year.
Yeah. And well, clearly, I mean, my little test. Maybe I will publish it. Maybe I will put it up.
Oh, I think it's interesting case study, and it's almost you talking through the history and the experience you guys have. Like, I'm just imagining a really cool graph. Like the SEO sounds like it's almost like hacking. The hackers are always ahead, and then so it's almost like people have found out these SEO ways, and then Google's jumped on top of them and catching up, and there's this timeline of black hat and scraping and link building.
What an amazing, the algorithm updates, Penguin Pen and all that stuff. Then the reverse SEO you can do on your competitors. There was that when people were being penalized and sandboxed for dodgy backlinks.
Right.
You had a website, you were my competitor, you were above me. I'd go and pay $50 to some people that would just do link wheels and link spam.
Okay.
And get you penalised.
Murky world.
I mean? So there was all of that. Then Google had to remove the penalties for
it's
bad
AI.
backlinks.
It's just so many.
Yeah, man. So what are your predictions, Rasesh, for SEO in maybe this year or the coming years? Do you think anything's going to change drastically?
So there are different ways we can look at this. Obviously, number one, it's going to change how we work.
Yes.
So it's going to make things easy, like writing meta descriptions, titles. It's going to help.
Yes.
There needs to be human touch. We need to give instructions, but it can give us suggestions.
Yep.
Right. It can give us ideas. We can learn from it. So these things, obviously, it's gonna make our work easier. That's gonna be number one point.
Yes.
And in terms of
thank God, jeez, man, I've been needing something like this. I can't be bothered doing all the stuff I've been doing. This AI, baby.
All the things.
Yeah. Give me that AI, baby.
You'll just be able to talk to it. You won't even be typing.
Hey, Billy, can you do this for me? Yeah, sure. Done.
Easy. Here it is.
Next level.
Yeah.
So that's going to be the number one change.
Yeah.
And the second change is content writing. It's where this thing is good at.
Yes.
ChatGPT.
Yes.
Right. So as I said,
that's kind of what it does. I mean, it fixes code. It can write in all different languages and codes.
There's the content, right?
Yeah. But
Sorry,
it writes text, like it writes content generally.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But as I said before, it needs to fulfill the intent.
Yes.
And it needs to come from an human perspective.
Yes.
Someone needs to go into searches and then think, what's needed in this?
Yes.
Right? And things change. A simple thing is, what's the best fruit for this season?
Yes.
Season changes, right?
Yeah, man.
So these things we can think of. It's just an example.
Yes.
But there may be so many factors that can come into making a perfect content.
Yes.
As someone said, like, there is no website that's 100% optimized.
Yes.
There are still things to improve.
Yes. Yep.
And how the algorithm works is based on a user's perspective.
Yep.
If someone is clicking on your website and they don't like your website, they go back and they click on the second result.
Yes.
If more people are doing it long enough, then obviously the website on the second position is going to come to the top.
Yeah, Google will change its algorithm based on what it's learning about what the content people are enjoying.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So even if it's an AI generated content,
yes,
it needs to be updated. It needs to have all the things. It needs to go along with the timeline.
Yeah, man.
Because new keywords come up, and it needs to always have that human touch.
Yeah.
So people talking about copywriters losing their jobs. It's like saying mathematicians losing their job because of calculators. Man.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, man. That's a good point. I never thought of it that way, but it's true. Yeah, it's not a matter of, I don't think, people losing their jobs. I think that it's the people doing the jobs that AI is now providing support for, doing a more work of better quality in a shorter period of time, right? Like, so it's really just going to enhance the output. Like, we're not going to say, oh, AI's here now, so we're not doing 8-hour days anymore, we're doing one. You know what I mean? Like, we're just going to do a better job for our customers. Businesses out there will do a better job for their customers. They'll be able to provide more value,
Exactly. Things will level up.
Yeah.
Right?
That's it.
With all the assistance and the help, the guide.
Yeah.
It's making your work easy.
Yep.
So things will definitely level up.
Yes.
But the human touch, the way we think, it's always going to be there. The way we have opinion on things.
Yeah, and I think also maybe people over time will start to be able to kind of tell a little bit. What do you reckon? Like, I don't know. Like, I couldn't tell the difference between, if I look at 2 e-commerce websites, right, or 5 different e-commerce websites 5 years ago, I could not tell if it was WooCommerce or Shopify or BigCommerce, or one of the other ones. But now I can. You know what I mean? I can kind of look at a website and within 5 seconds, I'll tell you if it's Shopify. You know what I mean? There's something there. I can't even tell you why, really. Like, it just looks, there's a theme. There's a bit of a pattern, emerging, I guess. And I think that maybe the same thing might kind of happen with AI generated content. At the moment, no one can tell because they're not used to seeing, you know what I mean? AI generated content. But, if you just rely entirely on AI to generate the whole blog and don't even bother to read it. Yes. You know what I mean? Or give it multiple prompts to try to chop and change it and put it together so it's actually useful for the user. It's probably going to start becoming pretty obvious to people, when stuff's just been sort of generated at the click of a button. But man, it's amazing. My daughter Poppy, I showed her, she's 7. You both know her. And I showed my son Kellen, who's 14. And he said, "Oh, great! I can use this at school, right?"
This is going to change school completely.
It's scary, right? Like,
how are they going to do homework now and exams and projects?
Why do homework? You don't need. It's not only do you no longer need to do the degree, you no longer need the degree. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's almost like, because I'll give you another example. I had someone who needed help getting out of a contract. With someone. They'd signed a 12-month contract. I don't want to get too nasty and name names and stuff like that, but they'd signed a 12-month contract with a competitor of ours, and had clearly made a very bad decision, by doing that because they were extremely unhappy. And they reached out to me and asked me for help. And one of the things that I did to help was copy and paste the whole contract into ChatGPT and say, based on Australian consumer law, write me an email to get me out of this contract, right? And it wrote this email that was amazing. It was amazing. It said, based on Australian consumer law, this contract is weighted unevenly in favour of a stronger party. Like blah, blah, all this stuff.
Crazy.
It was like, what? And that email got him out of the contract, right? So no one needs a law degree anymore, basically.
Well, it's like the internet, right? It opened up this new world of information. So if you didn't figure out how to use it, you get left behind.
Yeah.
So it's going to be with AI.
Yeah.
Where everyone's just leveled up.
Yeah.
And then we don't know what it looks like, but you're going to have to have skills that.
Yeah, man.
Everyone's
You're going to
to
need to know how to prompt
skills.
AI to get what you want. Yep. Right? Like, I've over the years hired like really expensive senior developers, and I've said I'll build, like, for example, our website's in Jamstack. You know, it's a JavaScript website, which is an advanced way of building a website, so it loads quickly. And the developers I hired to build that were like, you know, plus 10 years of experience, JavaScript experts, built a stack of Jamstack websites, sat them down, they had their laptops, I was watching to see what they were going to do, sat down, you know what the first thing they did was? Open Google and say, you know, download Jamstack framework, how to get started, basically. You know, like they're experts, but you need to be an expert to know what to search. Yeah. It doesn't mean don't have to search.
You know how to use the tool.
You need to know how to use the tool. So it's going to be the same thing. Yeah. But anyway, my 7-year-old daughter Poppy said to my son Kellen, don't use ChatGPT at school. Your brain will get smaller. And she said, and trust me, it's already too small. Yeah. So So then that's
classic Poppy.
Yeah, classic Poppy, mate. So yeah, maybe our brains will get smaller. I don't know.
No,
maybe that's be true, right?
We're not ready. We are not ready.
I don't mind if my brain gets smaller, but what I really do want is a hairline like Recession's.
Yes, well, it is a fantastic hairline.
That is something,
like
man.
it as well?
That is just like, I'm deep in the corners, you know? Like I'm starting to look like a bit of a pineapple. Do you know what I mean? The shape of the forehead, a little tuft at the top. But Resesh is just like, he's got the Elvis Presley do, man. Check that out. You don't even have corners. You don't even have corners, dude.
So I'm too young for it.
Yeah. You reckon it's coming, huh?
Yeah, on the way.
Is your old man bald?
No.
There you
I'm
go.
Bad.
No, you're good, man. You're safe. So your predictions, Resesh?
Yeah, so those two things, and obviously it's gonna change the way how we work.
Yes,
it's gonna change a lot of things.
Yep.
But as long as we are adaptable and we provide what to fulfill the user's intent,
yes,
you know, we are on the right track.
Yes,
because that's what Google wants.
Yes,
right? And it's not just about thinking as one user, but thinking as multiple users.
Yep.
Like, you know, probably thousands of them.
Yes.
Everybody would have a different intention. It's going to be a common intention that we try to direct our content to, right? But in order to think like 1,000 people and what they might want to see in the content, so that's a tough job. And AI, they can be programmed to do it.
Yes.
Maybe in future they may be able to do it.
Yes.
But right now it's up to us.
Yeah. Right. It's interesting. The prompts you can put into ChatGPT, back to this thing again that I'm obsessed with. You can say, write some content for a page about Shopify SEO or something like that. And then you can say, and write it so that it has the best possible chance of ranking number 1 for Shopify SEO Sydney or something like that. So you can lean on all of its knowledge, you know what I mean, and keep asking it to do more things. It has the best possible chance of ranking number 1 and gets the best conversion rate and the most inquiries, you know, and is engaging and memorable to the reader. You know, it's a very interesting time that we're in, man, this thing. So there are your predictions, Rasesh, for this year?
Yep.
Cool. Got any alarm for the e-commerce space coming up this year?
Well, with ChatGPT, actually for SEO, I'll give you a bold prediction.
Another bold
prediction. If not this year, in 2 years. Google, as we know and use it, won't exist. Every person will have their own search engine, just a personal search engine.
Okay.
Just a piece of software they go to and ask questions. At the moment, there are so many people figuring out the software and the uses for ChatGPT.
Yep.
And that's what it's going to be like. It's going to learn
Change
your
the game.
Preferences, who you are, and you're just going to go and probably speak to it.
So rather than being like a large worldwide language model just eating up all the information on the internet, it's also going to be consuming your behavior.
I'll have my own version. Yeah.
That's what apparently Elon Musk's talking about.
Yeah.
I heard a talk where the guy was talking about ChatGPT, and then he's talking about this thing that Elon Musk's been working on, which is like all like decentralized AI. So you'll have your own AI.
That's right.
You know, to support you with your life decisions and what you should be doing next.
Why would I go to Google and get these generic responses?
Yeah.
When
I want one that knows my weaknesses, like, you know, like it just kind of is a watch or something.
yeah,
It's like,
well, people are using it for sort of therapy.
Maybe when I go for like my 5th coffee, it gives me a little electric shock.
Yeah,
So
it's going to come into
you know
all
better
that.
than that, Billy.
Yeah.
You know, 5th coffee,
I was
mate.
going to say it to you in like the way you need to be told, right?
Yeah.
It's going to coach you that.
It's going to make me laugh.
in that way. Yeah, it's going to build some rapport.
Yeah.
Crack a joke.
Yeah. So not only is it going to be this decentralized AI thing, but then you're going to need one to protect you from other ones.
And that's
right?
the scary. I'll give you the scary prediction is like, where is this thing going to go? At the moment, there's a famous story about, I think it was Microsoft built a Twitter bot, and within a few hours they had to shut it down because people had trained it to be a Nazi and it was tweeting out racist tweets.
Yes.
And the people who did it weren't Nazis who trained it.
Yes.
They just wanted to prove how AI
it can get.
So if I go to ChatGPT now, they've built in guidelines.
Yes.
If you ask mental health questions, it says I'm not a therapist, right?
Yeah.
If you say, tell me who the worst mass murderer is, it goes, sorry, tell me tell me inappropriate things in the past, it says that's not a good question.
What was one that we asked it before? Do a speech about having solved the problem of the environmental crisis, as if you're Donald Trump, who's nervous about a bomb ticking in his shoe.
And if you ask like how to make it,
politicians shouldn't be,
and if you say,
write about that.
tell me how to make a bomb, like you can answer that question, and it says we're not going to do that.
Whereas Google will.
But
Google
then
will.
Who decides?
Google's like, oh, you want to make a bomb?
I know.
Here's 500,000 search results.
I know.
There was another one that I did. Who's better, Messi or Ronaldo?
Yes.
Oh, that's
I
a
had
good
no
one
answer
too.
for that.
Yeah, I didn't have
know.
an answer for that.
That's
So it's
a tough
like,
one.
who's going to decide that?
Yeah.
What? There's obviously some very clear ones.
Who become the arbiters?
Yeah, there's obviously some very clear ones where that's offline.
But then there's the contentious issues. It needs to just
The
stay away from.
contentious issues. And then back to the point of like the hacker's always ahead. What happens if someone figures out how to like
Get around it.
crack the algorithm and spam it with data points that are not.
What about ChatGPT or AI SEO, right? Like, what do you think that this will turn into a business model where I have to pay ChatGPT now so that if someone says who's the best plumber in Sydney, it says, oh, we recommend this list of plumbers.
Exactly.
You know?
I have my personal search engine, but then
Do you think it will ever become that?
like if I want to, because
100%. I have some opinion on this.
Yeah.
So when Facebook started, they didn't had a business model, right? He was just doing it to connect people. And Google started like that as well. They started being profitable later on.
Yes.
So this is where
they're following. This has been done before, right? Free.
Exactly.
They're not worried about the money yet. They're not worried about the business model. They're just showing people what's.
But that's essential as well. It's a company, like it hires people. It needs to run.
Yes.
Basically, it needs to get updated. Someone needs to work on it.
Yeah.
So they need that cash flow and the money, obviously. So it would get monetized.
Yes.
But how is the main question?
How are they going to do it?
And how Ilan said, like you said as well, that's going to be a point as well where people are going to pay.
Yes.
Maybe.
Yep.
To be on the top.
Oh man, no doubt. It's costing them a bomb. Apparently, have you read what they're talking about?
Yeah, but they talk about getting a valuation of 30 billion. So I don't think they're worried
about how much it's costing.
How much it's costing them.
$1 million a day.
Yeah, it's just more people use it, the more they learn, the more money people are going to want to invest in it.
Yeah, that IP is probably pretty valuable too. So, what were your predictions, Alan? You were talking about.
I gave you an SEO one. Is that we start to have like a personalized? It won't be Google, but a personalized way of accessing the web.
Yep.
I think if I talk about for e-commerce professionals and industries like us, the quality of content and the efficiency, we're going to see more creativity because the things that people are spending time on now, they won't.
The arbitrary tasks will be freed up for more creativity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep. And we're just going to see an explosion of different applications and software use cases that sit on top of GPT, which will just change the way.
We've already signed up a client. He's got an app that's in beta mode at the moment, but it plugs into the ChatGPT AI
it's an API.
plus other AIs, and it pulls in information to answer people's questions.
We're starting to see art, AI art. That's
Yep.
only at the beginning.
What's
but
that called? DALL-E?
There's DALL-E, yeah.
DALL-E.
Yep.
I think.
Yep.
Yeah, something
Even
like that.
Canva's built in
Yeah.
AI,
Yeah.
where you can type. It's way behind now. We talk about AI copy,
Yeah.
has gone
3
in-
months ago, it was advanced.
Yeah,
Now it's way behind.
exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Exactly. So
Crazy times, man.
yeah.
Things are moving so fast.
Yeah.
I think my predictions, to quickly round this up, guys, I think if you haven't heard of this or seen it before, go to Google, type in OpenAI ChatGPT, sign up. They want your mobile number, so you've got to give them that, but it's well worth it. It will blow your mind. It will make the hair
Yep.
on your head stand
It's
up.
magic.
It's crazy. So check it out. My predictions are, 1, this will be bigger than Google by the end of this year. I think because it gives you the answer, not a bunch of answers for you to find, or a bunch of
So you have to spend time
articles
going
finding
through.
your own answer. It gives you the answer.
Exact
And if you
answer.
think it's the wrong answer, it will tell you why it thinks it's the right answer. You can argue with it, right? So I think it's going to be bigger than Google. I think we're going to have problems with indexing content on Google. It was already a problem before, and it became a problem around about the same time as what was that AI writing software? Jasper came out, and so did and at about the same time, getting pages indexed on Search Console became a problem, if you remember that. So I think getting content indexed on Google is going to become a bit more of a problem. I think Bing's going to take the world by storm once they introduce this, because not even just because people want to use it on the search engine, but everyone, I know at least, is going to check it out. They're going to open Bing and see if ChatGPT works in the search engine and how they're integrating it. So that's going to be huge. So they're my 2 predictions right there, man. So thanks for your time, guys. Let's wrap it up.
Good to be here.
It was fun.
Thanks for
wasn't
having
it?
us, Billy.
I had a great time.
Got to do more of this.
We do need to do more of this. Guys, I apologise for having been a bit of radio silence over the last few months. There's been a lot of changes going on, and good changes, which I'll share with you over the course of the next few podcasts. So stay tuned.
And
Peace
again,
out.
thanks for having me. Thanks
Yes.
to
Oh,
Thanks
Ria.
to the amazing
Ria.
Ria.
Exactly.
Ria, come on. This is Ria, guys. She's awesome. She's doing a great job. She's the head of our design department, as a matter of fact, and she does videography, motion graphics, even 3D modeling. So if you need something done, reach out. Peace.
See ya.
Oh, by the way, I've got something to say.
Yes.
This is going to be uploaded on YouTube, right?
Yes.
So guys, let us hear your thoughts on ChatGPT.
Yes.
Right.
Give us your comments.
Yes, that is
Yeah.
good. Yes.
What do you think?
I'm going to write a title for this podcast with ChatGPT. So
Yeah.
see what you think. Peace.
See ya.
See you guys.